Doing Lines. This is the sports betting podcast where we do pretty fake bets that are pretty real, actually. You can bet on all the sports and some of the not sports of sports. This week, a lot of not regular sports bets. I'm your host, Kyle Ayers, joined as always by my co-host, Austin Huff.
Emphasis on pretty.
Pretty yes.
Fake.
Attractive.
Yes, they are attractive fake bets.
Putting the petty and pretty.
Speaking of attractive fake bets, probably one of the biggest news stories this week, Kyle. Pete Rose passing away.
Yes.
Do you think Pete owned a mirror for most of his career? And I know he played in a different era at a time, but that bowl cut haircut that he had, where he looked like he worked on staff at a castle.
I've never seen a guy look more like a squire.
Right? Like he needed ruffles around his neck while playing for the Reds.
Yeah. We rest in Pete. And we said this in the outro of the episode, but really there'll be no more Major League Baseball thing than how much they will honor him the second he dies. And there's just nothing more sports writers than you can't quit, we fire you, if you will.
MLB is gonna now put him in the Hall of Fame and be like, all right, good. Is he gone? Is he good?
Right. They're gonna be like, and here to induct him post-mortem into the Hall of Fame is Hall of Famer David Ortiz.
Right. Yeah. You're like, no, they'll have Barry Bonds come on to induct him into the Hall of Fame.
We have shoeless Joe Jackson's great grandson here to induct Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes.
Oh God! Oh, is that Petey Rose?
You mean to tell me that Pete Holmes made it into the MLB Hall of Fame before Pete Rose?
He did. That's how much this bit is crashing. We every week here on Doing Lines, Austin and I come up with 6 bets that have to do with, at this point, the NFL regular season a little bit. Our guests have $1,000 to put across these fake bets. They're very fake. These aren't the bets you're going to see in Vegas, unless your bookie is not in Vegas, unless your bookie is in the back room of a barbecue joint in Kansas City. These are not real. Here's some bets we put up, and then we keep score. We see which of our special guests from around the world of comedy and sports media can be the best at fake betting throughout.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Pete Holmes making it into the Hall of Fame before Pete Rose will be one of our bets at some point this season.
Yeah,
just to emphasize how fake these bets.
Yeah. Although baseball writers are so old school, I don't think they'll refer to anyone as Holmes.
That's true. That's true, right?
There's really probably no governing body that I dislike more in the specific ways that I dislike. We got to talk about here's the type of bets we have. Last week we just had a bet just how they drew it up. Does a quarterback catch a pass?
We had former Tennessee Titans wide receiver Drew Bennett on with us, and he was honestly a lot of fun. Surprised me at how funny he was, and I've interviewed him and talked to him a number of times before in the past, but he just always blows me away with how funny he was. And so our first bet was how they drew it up.
Yes, and that was, does a quarterback catch a pass? And because of Drew's number 83, we had 8-3 odds on it. And Austin
8/3, yeah.
A quarterback caught a pass in the last game of the week.
Oh, damn it. That's right.
Jared Goff caught a touchdown pass.
And I took
you
the
took
no.
The no.
That,
I took the yes. So my $150 turned into $390 on the last 6 minutes of the whole week.
And that was on the Monday night game that no one was watching.
No one was watching the second Monday night
Dolphins.
Game. Everyone was glued to, because of geographic restriction, glued to Titans, Dolphins.
Geographic restriction.
We'll go through the rest of the bets real quick. From last week.
Real quick, whenever they do the doubleheader Monday night games, and I'm very familiar with this because I am a Titans fan, and they only ever put the Titans on Monday night now when it's paired with a second Monday night game.
Yeah,
I always love that when I'm watching. Last night it was on ESPN. I'm watching ESPN and I'm watching Dolphins Titans, and they go side by side. They go split screen to show you what's going on in the other Monday night game that's literally airing on ABC.
Yeah.
As if you don't own a remote.
But they will do this thing where it's almost like they're like, there's other teams on right now.
Yeah, that it literally is like, it's a wellness check-in. It's like, hey, are you good? Because here's the game you should be watching.
We've noticed you've been on the Titans game it's like when Netflix is like, are you still watching?
Right.
Except
Right.
ESPN's like, are you really still watching the Titans
Yeah,
Dolphins
it's
game?
like, hey, but this game's on ABC,
You know,
right?
this
Like
game
it's
doesn't
going
have
on live.
any quarterbacks in it.
It's gonna come to the point where they're gonna have two Monday night games,
Yeah.
but one of them is just gonna be
The
they're
Titans
just gonna put
spring
the one
game.
game on two screens. They're gonna put they're gonna put Lions and Seahawks on both channels, and then they're gonna be like
Yeah. They'll be like, we
they're
got
like
two Monday night games. We got Titans, Seahawks in on this Monday night game, and the other one is a replay of Super Bowl 24. But we're gonna show them simultaneously. What else do we have last week? So Drew Bennett was here playing for
yeah.
Angels Ankles.
Mhm. A
With his
great charity, by
charity, a
the
great
way. An
charity.
incredible charity.
Here's some other
Um,
bets we had from last week. We had Won't Levis. Won't
mhm.
Levis. I always say Levis. I want to say Levis. Won't Levis. Does Will Levis? This is our weekly Will Levis
That's right.
check in.
I
Does
was gonna
Will
say
Levis?
you won't have to know how to pronounce his name for probably 5 more weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's only a matter of time.
Does he have a higher quarterback rating than any Dolphins pass throwers? He did
Hmm.
not. But
Uh,
because we
yeah.
had the if you're new, we have what has actually become a recurring bet is Will Levis memed this week. It's almost our franchise tag, if you will, where Austin can
Yeah, it's a
franchise tag one bet to where if Will Levis is a meme, all of the results of that bet flip.
and now it's like the internet is like the internet is just trying hard because this week's meme didn't even come with him on the field. He
No,
was
no.
injured. He got injured on like the
Yeah.
second drive of
Yeah.
the game, and he's
Yes.
on the sideline wincing in pain, but it looks like he's taking a shit. And
Yeah.
so, of course, that gets memed. And
Yeah.
well,
So,
it's
which works out for you because you had Will Levis having a good game. He didn't, but he did meme his way into you winning $300.
I hedged my bets with that one. No joke.
And we had the return of the Mac. Does Mac Jones appear? He did not appear at all. Um, so everyone lost money on that. We all bet on some
He,
Mac Jones thing just because you put 10 times odds on there because of the return of the Mac. Time,
mhm.
length of the song. You have to go back and listen to last week to see that, but we all lost money. Um, then we had a few more bets. The Grotesque Kelsey bet.
Oh
Travis
yeah,
Kelsey
yeah.
premiered in the new Hulu show Grotesque. Would he have more yards than the Rotten Tomatoes score? Rotten
I have
Tomatoes
not
score
looked
for
up the Rotten
Grotesque,
Tomatoes. I haven't looked it up yet. I'm so
75%.
excited. Really?
And Travis Kelsey, 89 yards.
Well,
So
and he did have his best game. He
he
did
had
have his
he
best
had more
game
yards, but that was higher than we thought the Rotten Tomatoes score was going to be.
for
So if
sure.
we had just said Travis Kelsey over under 75.5 yards, we might, but we all won money on that one. That was my lock.
That's
And
that's when it helps to that's when it really helps to be dating Taylor Swift
yeah,
because like anything he touches is going to be rated at least above a certain
these are
threshold just
critic
based on the number of
scores. Most of the people who do these reviews are sick and tired of them cutting to her twice for 3 seconds, 6 years. Um, but this 75%, I think it's just one of those shows that seems self-aware based on the few reviews, I read. We had
Did
this
you watch it?
because no,
Will you
Drew
watch it?
Ben, no, I don't give a fuck. No, put Travis Kelsey in the Penguin and then I'll watch.
Okay.
Let him play. I don't know. Let him play Catwoman.
He needs to
Um,
play a super trooper, is like just with his look. I feel like that's what he
he
needs to play.
does. He has the face and behavior of someone who gets pulled over by Farva.
Right.
More scoring plays and turnovers by UCLA versus scoring plays and turnovers by UCLA alumni in the NFL. This was because Drew Bennett was a UCLA alumni.
Hmm.
Scoring plays and turnovers by UCLA, 6. They had a few scoring plays, 2 turnovers. Or 3 field goal, 3 kicks, 3 scoring plays, 2 turnovers, and 1 turnover caused. So that brought them to 6 total.
Okay.
UCLA alumni in the NFL, 5.
Oh wow, that was
They had 4
close.
kicks and 1 turnover caused, and that was Steele fumbling.
Wow.
So that $200 each for each of us. Drew lost on that one. He bet on the alumni. They were just the Chiefs playing Carson Steele more away from him fumbling again. That man holds the ball in such an insane manner, almost like he's not a running back. And then the last play, Commanders Bengals had no turnovers or punts. in week 3? Will there be any teams over under 2.5 teams with no turnovers or punts? Under 0. Every team punted. I didn't even have to
That's
look at turnovers. Every team
that's cr-
punted.
that's crazy.
Even the Commanders, who scored 42 points, had a punt.
Our defense is back. People
Oh,
are
I don't
asking.
know. But that was your lock, so you won a bunch of money there. We'll review the scores here. Overall, Drew Bennett, former Tennessee Titan, lost $1,040. His big loss was the lock on that. He thought there would be 3 teams that didn't punt. There were none. So he lost a lot of money there and was about even other than that, but bet $400 on his lock and lost. Austin, last week, you made $1,000.
Let's go. Oh no, no, this is where you follow it up with
And
you made like 1,400
no, I
or
actually only made $1,240.
I hate
So
you.
the
Where'd the
current
40 come from?
well, the $390 on my 2.6 multiplier on the quarterback catching a pass.
Damn it. And that one literally came. That was like the third or fourth quarter of that game too.
Yeah.
The last game of the entire week.
Most people already had their TVs turned off, and then he caught that pass.
I hate
And
you so much.
so the current,
that don't try and win me back over with that pun.
He went to Jared for the pun. And so Drew, after losing $1,040, is now in third place.
Wait, what? Yeah, what was his total score?
Negative 1,040. Austin, your current score is 600. You're at positive. You're in the green. I have a green pen and everything. It's running out of ink from my side, but
okay.
And I'm at positive $3,940.
So you gained ground on me this week.
Yeah, I gained
even though I had
$240 I added
All
in
right.
distance.
Well, it is a new week.
It's a new week. This is the longest we've gone without having a bet about poop since last season. I'm looking forward to this week. I kept thinking this thing while watching the Chiefs game was how you said nothing bad ever happens to the Chiefs on the field, which I don't know if you Austin has firmly
hang on. No, hang on. There's still time for this to bounce in the Chiefs' favor. Like somehow the Chiefs are going to spin this. I've watched enough Chiefs over the last 5 years to know that this is it. It seems like a negative right now, but Rashee Rice is out for the year probably, maybe, or at least the next handful 6 to 8 weeks.
He's out.
He is going.
But he might not play till November of 2025.
Okay, all right, but this leads to Brett Veach going out and trading for, stealing from the poor and giving to the rich, taking a DeAndre Hopkins off of the Titans, or going out and getting a Tyreek Hill off of the Dolphins. Like it is going to lead to the Chiefs getting a better weapon.
They cannot afford Tyreek Hill. Let me just so if you guys didn't listen, Austin stands firmly that nothing bad has ever happened to the Chiefs on the field for 5 years.
Never happened.
And that didn't take into account that their number one wide receiver got hurt the first play of the preseason. And that didn't take into account that their number one running back got hurt and is out for 8 weeks.
They're undefeated. It clearly didn't affect them.
That doesn't mean it's not bad.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not bad.
Trust me. And then, as a Titans fan, I know bad, and it is not what the Chiefs are going through.
It is somehow them winning all these games is so nothing bad has ever happened to the Chiefs, and then ever on the field since Mahomes has become the quarterback.
Yeah, you have to say on the field. You have to say on the field.
And then in one play, Mahomes makes a horrific throw to a wide open, struggling tight end that is intercepted. Chased down by their number one wide receiver, who causes a fumble on an incredible play. I firmly believe defensive players don't know how to carry the ball. They fumble a lot. Great play by Rashee Rice.
That was great play.
What is their boneheaded? Because Mahomes is playing boneheaded this year. He's playing like he doesn't trust anyone on the team.
Well, he has to play that bone. He is a bonehead, which explains why his helmet is so big.
Yeah, that is true. Didn't remember when a piece of it chipped off against the Dolphins, and then he dives to make a play he should not be playing. And hurts the best player on the team this year.
Wait a minute. Let's go Alex Jones InfoWars. I'll eat your ass. Ultimate conspiracy. What if Patrick Mahomes did that on purpose to injure Rashee Rice, to make this season even more about his greatness, to where he can do it without even his best weapon on offense?
If I did that to someone, and I would play horribly. I, you know what I mean? If I was like, I hurt the only guy who's good. This is the problem with the everyone saying the Chiefs will just go out and get someone. When has that happened? Last year they went out and got McCole Hardman. I think the
Hey,
problem with it saying the Chiefs are just going to go get, they will not get Devontae Adams. The Raiders will not trade Devontae Adams to the Chiefs. And they won't go get a guy who hasn't played for them because Andy
if they
Reid's
need
offense is confusing and weird. And I think that takes a long time to get into it. I legitimately think they might go get Tony again.
No, you know what they're going to do is they're going to knock on the Buffalo Bills door because the Bills have literally bent over backwards twice to help the Chiefs out with
What are they
not
going to trade for
only
Marquez Valdez Scantling again?
yeah. With Xavier Worthy in the draft, the Bills gave that draft pick to the Chiefs for them to draft Xavier Worthy, who has been nothing short of phenomenal this season. But then also
I
a
guess he's
guy
been
by the name of,
phenomenal. He
I
was
mean,
a
he's been
no-show for 2 games and messed up on a game-clinching crosser route against the Falcons. He has flashed very good in his
I mean, the
opportunities.
longest pass play of the Chiefs season this year came on Sunday
Yeah,
with
and that
Xavier
was great. And
Worthy.
I would love more of that. And
Yeah,
I hope they lean on him more and see that he's a more well-rounded receiver than like even Deshaun Jackson or someone like these other fast
yeah.
guys.
But the Buffalo Bills are also responsible for the Chiefs getting another player, and he's a little bit more obscure. But if you are a Chiefs fan, you probably know who he is. His name's Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Um, kind of a big get. So I
Yeah.
think that if the Chiefs want to screw someone over, just go knocking on the Bills'
I
door,
just don't
and
think
it'll
anyone
probably only
will.
take like 13 seconds or so.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Hopkins is the only player I could see just coming in and knowing how to run some routes and being good enough to where you don't need him to do all these complicated plays within the offense. He can kind of do his own thing.
He's a pro's
Um,
pro. He's so good. He's still so good. Like
he
he's
really,
to
really
me,
is.
DeAndre Hopkins is the Derrick Henry of wide receivers, where it's like everyone wants to write him off as washed, but then he continues to make plays on the field, and you're like, oh no, yeah, no, he's still got it.
I think it's just so crazy because washed for DeAndre Hopkins is like what, the 11th best receiver in the league?
Yeah,
And then you're just
seriously.
like, a lot of that's based on opportunity and quarterbacking. I just, I think that I stand by this. The NFL is so close. The parity
Hmm.
is so close between, I would say, you can knock off the bottom 4 teams maybe,
Hmm.
but it is so close together that there's such a value in just knowing how to fucking figure it out.
Hmm.
I think pretty much every game comes down to like 6 plays, and the
Yeah.
Chiefs have Mahomes and Kelsey, and
Hmm.
the Chiefs are not a deep team, but if you need someone to figure out 6 plays, they have those 2 guys, and they have Chris Jones, who might be the defensive player of the year right now. He's
Oh, yeah.
absolutely like obliterating guys. He was in the backfield every single play against the Chargers, and that's just it. You just have people who can close it out. If you can hang
Hmm.
around, you have people that can close it out, and that's the difference between, you know, 4-0 and 2-2 or whatever. And
That's why I get so like shocked when an NFL team gets shut out in an NFL game. Because even
yeah,
like you talk about the parity, even just on a week to week basis, like the parity of like,
the Titans just
oh
blew a
yeah,
team out.
the worst teams in football can get 3 points on the board in any game. Like
Yeah,
it's actually it's harder to be shut out in the NFL based on the parity and
I think so too.
in the league. And so like it is, and they say any given Sunday, blah blah blah. Everyone's just giving free publicity to all of our Stone movies, but I
Right.
like
You know
it
how they always
truly
say
is a thing.
JFK,
Yeah, right.
just
They
fucking
do.
kick it, dude.
Just
Uh
just effing
the
kick
anti
it,
for
man.
going for it on fourth down crowd is always like JFK. And
Okay,
then
JFK, right.
they
They're
kick
like
it.
born on the 4th of
A
July.
we need
Is
a
that
second
an
kicker
Oliver
from the
Stone movie?
grassy knoll. I'm not sure. But I mean it is true like the Broncos Jets, a 10-9 game between teams that
Yeah.
you think the Jets could score 30 points. It's all Bills only scored 10 after looking like the best team in the league,
Hmm.
and it's all wild. I think there's just some value to knowing in this moment
Right.
how to figure out what you have to do to get 8 yards, no matter
Yeah.
how the
Well,
play shakes down.
yeah, and it's like, and it is like a week to week thing because, like, yeah, like the Buffalo Bills did look like one of the best teams in football. Then, yeah, then they get the doors kicked in
Yeah,
on Sunday Night Football against the Ravens, who, with Derrick Henry playing the way he is, they look like natural born killers.
yeah.
Like he was sent from heaven and earth at the
I
same
think if
time. Like,
the
and
I
they
firm I
they
really
just got like a
really
platoon in their run game.
If they just never passed the ball once, I think that they would probably win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If they were, if you got Georgia Tech from the aughts offensive coordinator in Baltimore,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Right.
game over.
Yeah, and then if you get the Bills, like I mean, the Bills later on in the year, they'll probably like return to form,
Yeah.
uh, at home,
Oh, I think the
when
Bills will
they're
probably
snowed
beat the
in.
Chiefs by 14 at home in some weird
Hmm.
game, and everyone will freak out about that, and the Chiefs will feel
Yeah.
just fine. But I think there's just something to know. It's weird. It's hard to know how to win until you accidentally do, and the Chiefs
Hmm.
are the only team that have in these weird AFC games for a while, besides the Bengals,
Right.
and the Bengals look like they don't like each other.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a persona non grata, is what it. I mean, every single Sunday, you're going to see the Chiefs come home with the W because they're savages.
I don't know if calling Chiefs savages is what you want to do on the podcast.
The No, that is the hand that stirs the drink. Is that a saying? I don't know.
I don't. I
Just
think they're first they're
Nick's
natives.
on
They're
that
Native
one.
Americans. I wouldn't say they're uh savages, Austin, but you heard it here
Um,
first. Austin Huff, all Chiefs are savages.
Look,
Um,
money never sleeps. Okay. That's sorry. I
do you
just
have Oliver
have been.
Stone's IMDb pulled up right now?
Yeah, I've been going through Oliver Stone movies for the last like 5 minutes in this conversation. And I got through almost all of them.
I know. I was like, something's up. He's not as listening as he normally is.
I
But
could not fit World Trade Center in there. I was trying hard,
that's
but
okay. Speaking of the Jets game, they at one point that game was United 9-3 Jets, and then the Broncos were able to put it in the end zone.
well, you just went nuclear now.
Oh man. Well, there's I don't know. Bad stuff happens to every team. The refs just in general. The refs stink. There's no consistency. It's sort of who can overcome having less say in the game than you wish you had.
I, you know, and the refs do stink. The Titans had to deal with the Cleat Blakeman, which I know this is common ground that Titans fan and Chiefs fans can find, is their disdain for Cleat Blakeman, because he is
Clete
just an
Blakeman
awful.
sounds like an injury a guy gets in soccer.
If your name is Cleat Blakeman, you should be able to step up your game at any point.
Yeah.
Um, it is. He's bad, and
It's a real
he's not.
choose your own adventure with him,
Damn it. All right. Should we get to Jessica Smetana?
Yeah, we
or
really
should
should.
we? Okay. Our guest this week is Jessica Smetana. I'll introduce her properly on the other side, but she is awesome, and we're so excited to have her this week. And I think you guys will really like her too, because she does tremendous work at Meadowlark Media with Dan Le Batard and the entire crew and staff that they've got there. And if you're a college football fan, you will really like her work, because she is incredible there. F1 fan, everything. We'll get more to her, but let's get to Jessica Smetana. All right, our guest this week, I am super excited about, because I first started following this guest way back in her SB Nation days, and just from there, she's just continued to climb the ladder of sports media, from Sports Illustrated, now working at Meadowlark Media, which you probably know her as a producer for the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gotts, but she also has a absolutely tremendous podcast for Meadowlark called Gen CFB that she co-hosts with Lucy Rodine, and you can find her on Instagram at Jessica Smetana and at Jessica_Smetana on Twitter. She is Jessica Smetana. Jess, how are you?
That was so lovely. Wow, since the SB Nation days, huh? That's a long time
Oh yeah.
ago.
Honestly, and what's funny is, obviously I listen to Le Batard religiously, and the fact that not only did you come to Meadowlark, but very shortly Charlotte Wilder joined you, I feel like was only fitting that that the two of you were not unlinked for too far
Yeah,
removed.
that's true. Yeah, we've been on this weird sports media journey together for a long time, but I appreciate the intro. That made me sound a lot cooler than I think I am. So I
No,
appreciate
no,
that.
you are. Now, before we get into like all of our NFL fake bets and your fake charity that you will be playing for, this weekend, college slate. Are there any games in particular that you're most excited for?
Ooh, this upcoming weekend? That's a great question. So full disclosure, I am a Notre Dame fan, which you probably already know, Austin. But
Yeah.
this upcoming weekend is actually my favorite weekend of the year because it is Notre Dame's bye weekend. So I don't have to like
Yes.
stress eat through my Saturday, and I can just sit back and relax and watch all the other games, and none of them really matter to me personally too much.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for this weekend because, like I said, you just kind of get to like let the rest of college football wash over you. And I'm still sort of reeling from this past weekend's Georgia Alabama game. That was quite
Yeah.
a game. So let me look at the schedule and get back to you because
Yeah, no. Look, trust me. If there's anyone who understands the power of a bye week, it is me as a Titans fan.
Yeah,
I
Austin's a
am.
Tennessee Titans fan, so he's basically on a college football bye this week as well.
Yeah, they have their bye week this week, and I couldn't be happier, honestly.
it's
Especially,
amazing.
yeah.
Although
Especially
it's a
coming
little
off
bit
of
different. Austin just wants to just feel okay.
Yeah, that honestly, like, I just not hurt. That's all I'm
Right,
looking for.
exactly.
Which
No,
the
it's
last two and a
been
half years have been brutal. Yeah.
it's been a up and down season for Notre Dame fans, but I am excited for College Game Day to go to Cal this weekend because
Yeah. Yes.
they've never been to Cal before. I don't know why they ever would have been to Cal before,
Yeah.
and it's a really
Right.
weird clashing of fan bases with Miami coming to town to play Cal in their first ever home ACC game. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. I hope it's a game. Cal's got a really great running back, but Miami's got a great quarterback and a little bit of everything else too. So I'm hoping that's close.
I believe the shirts that I saw that they were wanting to print up for this game was woke versus Coke in
Yes.
the Cal
Except it's
Miami
also
game.
like, isn't it kind of also Coke versus Coke? Like I'm
Yeah.
guessing that
Yeah.
both campuses
It's come back
partake.
in pretty full force almost everywhere, I would say.
Yeah, you're not like in Berkeley, you're not too far removed from Silicon Valley, which is basically that's like water down there for sure. So
Yeah.
no, that is a very and Cal Twitter this year has been sneakily on fire. Like it has been
Oh,
one
I
of the
love it.
best Twitter fan bases I think out there. It's amazing.
Woke Campbell Stadium when they went to Florida State. It's just been, I saw like someone making like a communist versus convicts shirt for the game this
Right.
weekend. It's just like been an absolutely absurd couple
Yeah.
weeks for them. And it, honestly, like I don't know this to be true, but if you told me that it was the same 4 Cal fans that made like
Yeah,
100
right.
dummy accounts that were just pumping out the same memes, I would believe you. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the case, but if you told me that, I would believe you.
Yeah, again, not that far from Silicon Valley in Berkeley. So I could
Bot
very
farm.
easily just just
A
exactly
Cal bot farm.
right. All right. Well, Jess, listen, we're very excited to have you. We appreciate you joining us. But obviously, look, we're not going to beat around the bush here. We're going to be pretty open. We are all very much people of means. I mean, look, that Meadowlark money comes in very nicely. So instead of taking the fake winnings that you earn here today with the fake cash that you will be betting on these bets, we don't like to keep it for ourselves. We in turn like to turn it over and donate it to a fake noble cause. So is there a fake charity that you will be playing for this week, Jess?
Yeah, this charity actually is super important to me. It's called the Aaron Rodgers Darkroom Retreat Center for quarterbacks, and this charity hosts quarterbacks in the off season who need to sort of find themselves along their long and stressful quarterbacking careers. So of course Aaron Rodgers, named after him because he is the founder of said retreat center. And so yeah,
Sure.
anything I win will be going to that noble cause.
Yeah, I'm assuming there's not like an electric bill that you have to pay with this center.
No.
It's everything. The funds go to everything else.
A huge insurance bill though, because things do tend to light on fire because of all the candlelight being used. But
Yeah, you'd be
Yeah.
surprised
Yeah.
what DMT runs you even in bulk.
Right.
right. Also, no food. I think that's a part of the retreat. You're not eating anything for some
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure why.
Right.
We-
We all knew that one guy in college, like when you showed up to his like dorm room or his apartment, that you're always like, is that incense I'm smelling? I imagine that just that feeling is what you feel entering this Aaron Rodgers retreat center.
A lot of tapestries. There's just a lot of tapestries.
A lot of bead doors. The bead door detangling fees are very high. They have someone just to
Exactly.
detangle bead doors with peace sign aliens in them.
Bead
You-
door
you got it.
detangling. All right, so a lot of the money is going towards the bead door detangling at the Aaron Rodgers Retreat Center. Okay, Jazz, I think that's a noble cause that you're
Yeah.
doing because look, Aaron has no family to put behind this care center that he's got going. So I'm glad that you are stepping up and playing on behalf of him this weekend.
Just dedicated fans like myself.
So Kyle and I will lay out 6 total bets for you: 3 from Kyle, 3 from myself. You have $1,000 of fake money to hopefully win for that retreat center, and we do ask that you bet on at least 2 of the bets, and then you will have one of the bets will be your lock of the week, which is double the winnings or triple the losses. Now, we had your co-worker Mike Ryan Ruiz on 2 seasons ago, and the lock really crushed him. He finished with a total of negative $1,200 for the cause that he was playing for. So just want to let you know that the lock can make or break you.
And you are allowed to do parlays or anything like that. We don't know what that is, but you're allowed to do it.
Right.
We are yet to have one hit. So people will say, I'll parlay these, and we'll nod our heads and go along, and we will pray that they don't hit, because we are not going to figure out what that means. But if yours hits, we have a resource we can use to see what that means.
There's a reason we started a podcast on fake sports betting. And that's mainly it right there.
Yeah, this is all great. If it's negative money, then I think Aaron Rodgers pays me. That's
yeah.
That's potentially a good strategy to have.
I feel like he would buy a new cell phone before he would pay you off. He catches me as like a dodge out of the paying you off type of guy.
Yeah, I don't know why you would say that, but totally.
All right, Kyle, you want to go
I'll lay my 3 out here real quick. My first bet is going to be rest in peace to Dikembe Mutombo. Passed away on Monday, which yesterday as of this recording. Dikembe Mutombo, famous for his blocks. This is an easy bet. Are there any blocked kicks, punts, or kicks in the NFL this weekend? And here's the bonus. If anyone does the finger wag as a celebration, you automatically win the bet.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one.
And the finger wag could be after touchdowns or anything?
If anyone does it has to very obviously be a Dikembe-inspired finger wag, which I think may happen.
Right.
Because they have online as well. So if any of those happen, I will say if the finger wag happens, it'll be a double multiplier on the bet.
Okay.
That's a good one. Okay.
So if the finger wag adds a double multiplier.
Does it have to be a finger wag after a blocked kick?
No, it can be a finger wag that seems like an ode to Dikembe after any sort of play. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could totally see a DB on a ball that sails over a wide receiver's head just going,
my goodness.
like he had.
I will say I need it to look like they did it for him and not just as a
I got you.
I
mean, you're already selling me. This may be my lock, but go on. I'd like to hear the other bets.
It does. I kind of want to give a caveat that if it's a DB on a play where he's been burned all game and this is his first good play, which is my all-time favorite NFL play, which is like you're losing 24-0. Justin Jefferson is torching you, and you're going to give him the finger wag on a bad tipped throw. Like I'm obsessed with when that happens. Where like, don't come at me, and it's like they've been coming at you.
Right. Coming at you for a reason.
I'm a Chiefs fan. We had Daniel Sorensen for years who would just do exactly this. You get torched all game, and then you tip one away, and you stand up and do the the double arm, and you're like, that is their first incompletion. Next bet, the MLB playoffs start. I think maybe 20 minutes ago. As of this recording.
Watch baseball. Yes.
This one, well, don't worry. This one has little or nothing to do with actual baseball. But the playoffs started, so we have to acknowledge that this is about as much as people will talk about baseball anyways. Will any MLB teams outscore their city-sharing NFL team in totality by the end of Sunday? So that makes in the playoffs, there's Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore. Both New York teams, I've assigned the Mets, the Jets, because it rhymes, and the Yankees, the Giants, or Atlanta. And then there's Philadelphia, Los Angeles, Cleveland. There's a lot of overlap here. Will any of these teams outscore their NFL team they share a city with by the end of Sunday? So Detroit, Houston, Kansas City, Baltimore, the Mets, and Atlanta can all play up to...
The New York team's in Atlanta. I've got my eyes on them.
Yeah,
I gotta check who they're all playing.
And they can all play up to 5 games. Those teams.
Ooh, okay.
They could only play 2 games and get eliminated, but they could play up to 5 games if they go full 3, and then the next series will be game 2s on Sunday.
Okay, and is each New York team is its own island, right?
Yes, the Yankees are the Giants and the Mets are the Jets. The New York Yankees, Philly, Los Angeles Dodgers, and Cleveland somethings, they can all only play up to 2 games because they have a bye. So will any of these teams outscore? So Tigers, I'm kind of working Tigers versus Lions could be up to 5 games for the Tigers. They've been on a roll. The Astros versus the Texans. You're looking at if a team scores 5 runs a game, they could get up to 25 runs.
I mean, I think the Jets are playing the Vikings this weekend, and Vikings have a pretty good defense.
The Jets are. I almost did a bet called mascots that the other mascot would have thought was God if they saw them, because I think if a real life Viking saw a Jet, he might think it was God.
Yeah, naturally.
And that's a London game too, so that might be a yucky offense game.
That's true.
Teams. Yeah,
remember that? Was it the Chiefs Dolphins in Germany last year? It was like no points. It was just a mess. No one looked thrilled to be there, even when the game was over. They're like, "Well, time to get on a plane for 16 hours." So that one is will any of these teams, some playing up to 5 games, some playing up to 2 games, outscore their totality of their runs?
And is that through Monday night? So like the Royals,
this is through Sunday night. Although the Chiefs are the only team that play on Monday that have a baseball team, I'm going through Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay.
Yes. And then my last bet. Also, you can just ignore that one if you want. That's fine. My last bet.
I actually love
in
that
honor
bet.
of the F1 minute, which if Formula One racing you're more familiar with than Austin and I, who Googled what does the F stand for.
Yeah. Wait. And can I say something real quick? Jess, I am a psychopath in my podcast listening, and I will listen to Le Batard on 1.75 speed.
That's crazy.
So the F1 minute is more like 33 seconds or something to me. Like,
speaking of Coke, I mean, I must sound completely unhinged.
It just sounds like an F1 car.
I tried listening to it one time just at one regular speed, and I was like, oh, she talks even fast on this. And then I hear it on 1.75. Oh my gosh. Well done. Well done on your part.
All of my familiarity with F1 comes from, I have a podcast about movies, and a lot of the fans somehow, or like all talk about it. Not all, but like a good amount of them are always talking about F1. So I see their Discord about F1. I know Max Verstappen is very good. And then after that, I know nothing else. So, although that doesn't seem to be too far off from how it's going.
Yeah, for the last 3 years, that's really all that you needed to know. But things are getting a little bit more interesting this season. I will say so.
I have one bet here. Max Verstappen has 7 wins this season already, 11 podiums. Over under 7 tackles for players named Max this week.
Okay.
So,
and is that combined?
There's total. There's Max Crosby, who's supposed to be coming back this week. And then really your next best bet is Max Melton, a defensive back for the Cardinals, who had 3 tackles, is averaging about 2.5 or 3 tackles a week. Okay. And after that, you're looking at a lot of developmental contracts.
I mean, the Raiders are playing the Broncos this weekend, so I like the Max Crosby situation there.
I feel like Max versus Bo Nix sounds like Madden create a player name generators, like going against one another.
Way too many X's. Way too many X's in those
I know.
names.
What is this, Texas? And so we're over under 7. If it's a tie, one of them getting a sack will help you win. And if there's no sacks, you'll lose. No matter what your bet is. The sack will be the determination.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
These are the longest bets I think I've ever presented.
No, these are great.
These bets are longer than Dikembe Mutombo's name.
And his fingers. They have his long fingers. All right, my 3 bets. Jess, massive Steelers fan. This weekend you've got the Cowboys Sunday Night Football. In what is obviously what anyone refers to as the rematch of Super Bowl 30.
Right, America's teams, plural, playing against each other.
Right. The last time the Cowboys were actually in a Super Bowl. Super Bowl 30, the Roman numeral obviously is XXX. So this bet is simple. Does this game get dirty? Are there more dirty penalties than clean penalties in this game? And that includes personal fouls, unsportsmanlike penalties, and then an ejection. If it gets real chippy, that counts as 3.
Okay.
So, yeah. So an ejection is the big dog, but personal fouls, unsportsmanlike penalties, do they outweigh your normal penalties of false starts, delay of games, all of that?
Would you call hands to the face? I would say anything on the face. I would call a triple X penalty.
Roughing the passer, late hit. What are we doing with those? Steelers' offensive line is very, very injured and a very big.
These are those.
Justin Fields also.
Justin Fields. Well, yeah, Justin Fields doesn't help that,
and they often don't call them.
They do not, and that kind of helps on the clean side of things, because whenever Justin Fields slides, for whatever reason, he never ever gets a
last
penalty.
Week, very controversial Minka Fitzpatrick penalty called late in the game that kind of turned the tides. The Steelers were trying to make a comeback and then gave up big yardage there. So interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I like this one. So if we get the personal foul, obviously, personal foul, 15 yards, dirty penalty. You know what, Kyle, I will throw in, I don't know if a hands to the face is a personal foul, but if it isn't, I will throw in hands to the face, because anything to the face, to me, that's dirty. I think
now,
it's,
if the referee calls the penalty,
don't touch my face.
Yeah, if strangers touch my face at work, I think it's bad.
That's dirty. Yeah, you do not touch.
Yeah,
do not touch coworkers' faces. It's dirty.
If the referee calls that penalty, giving them the business, can we go ahead and just give this one an auto win?
Then that's an auto win. Auto win for giving them the business. And then my next bet is called 30s Hardies. I am a Titans fan, as we previously stated, unfortunately. And they aren't playing, but I still have a bet about them. They beat the Dolphins on Monday night. And not only was it their... yeah.
That was such an ugly game. I hated it.
I feel like I was watching that documentary about SeaWorld. They beat the Dolphins so one-sided.
Yeah. But Jess, correct me if I'm wrong. It is a little bit nicer to go into work on a day after the Dolphins lose.
Oh, well, it's, I don't root against them. However, when the Dolphins are on a roll, it can get really annoying, because then it's just like everyone's sort of patting themselves on the back for it. So I don't root against them. However, a nice humbling loss now and then makes work a little bit better for working with Dolphins fans.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well, and look, and it opens the door for potential more Steelers talk, because the Steelers 3-1 and the Dolphins 1-3. So
Steelers have 2 quarterbacks. Dolphins have none.
That's true, right?
I think the Dolphins might have their eyes on a Steelers quarterback. They can't have him.
How many bathrooms are there in Miami?
Yeah. All right. So the Titans, not only was it their first win of the season, it was also their first time scoring over 30 points since December of 2021. Jeez. They went 38 games without scoring 30 points. And to prove how absurd that is, I basically want to know how many teams score over 30 points this weekend. There are 14 games, 28 teams in action. The over-under I am setting is just under Will Levis, 7.5. So if 8 teams score 30 points or more, and you take the over, you win this bet. Over-under 7.5 team scoring points. However, Kyle and I do have a running joke on this podcast this season. There is a catch to this bet. And even though the Titans are on a bye, this catch still applies.
Okay.
If Will Levis gets memed this weekend, you either automatically win or you automatically lose your bet. And thus far, he has been memed every single weekend. So that is if you have the bet won, you will lose it automatically. Or if you have the bet lost, you will win it automatically. If for whatever reason we get a meme from Will Levis we'll say until Tuesday morning of next week.
But they're on a bye this week.
They are on a bye. But Will Levis has been known to hit the streets of Nashville, Lower Broad.
Yeah. Okay, so I think just off the top of my head, counting quickly, it looks like 7 teams this past weekend scored over 30, or maybe 8 teams
Yes.
scored over 30. And we know scoring is somewhat down in the
Yeah.
league this season. The
It is
defenses.
defenses.
Everyone really
really
complained
stepping up,
about
so that's a
how
good
offenses
line.
were too dominant until it changed, and now everyone seems very mad about that.
Yeah,
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 right.
yeah.
Well, as a fan of a team that has had only good defenses for the
Yeah.
last like 6 years, it's kind of like the one thing where on the one hand I'm like, wow, our offense like really stinks. Like, what's going on? Is this the offensive coordinator? Is it the quarterback? And then I'm like, man, every offense kind of stinks except for the ones with like Patrick Mahomes on them. So I guess maybe
right.
I don't know how to register any of this.
I call the Steelers the scoregami squad because every single time they go into a game, you're like, we're going to see a score we've never
Yeah,
seen before.
right. It's
A
like
new
8
single
points the
digit
hard
number.
way.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like, how do
yeah,
we
yeah.
get to 15 without getting in the end zone?
They'll score 8 with only field goals somehow.
Right,
It's
exactly.
weird. It's wild. Surely the NFL won't react to this one season the defense is having and implement new rules to
Well, Mel
benefit
Kiper's already
offenses.
trying to ban cover 2, so I think
That guy
luckily
just
the
needs something to
response
be
that was
relevant
swift.
outside of late April.
He needs to
Yeah.
just go eat a piece of pecan pie and call it a day, or whatever he eats for breakfast. I think it's pecan pie. I
Yeah.
don't know. Okay, but that 7.5 is that's a good line. I like that.
Yeah, 7.5, 14 games. Now,
Okay.
this one is also somewhat tied to the Steelers. Obviously, Jess, you have, in my opinion, one of the greatest college football minds in America. And this week, not only do your Steelers play the Cowboys on Sunday night,
Me and Nick Saban.
the game of the week. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Between you, how many national titles? I mean, it's got to be a crazy number.
Like, so many.
I mean, that's a pretty good average, honestly. This week, not only or you play the Steelers Sunday night, your game of the week. Kyle and I, we are both Mizzou grads, and the Tigers play at A&M
Texas
as
A&M,
the only
yes.
the only ranked on ranked matchup of the weekend.
Okay.
So we want to know: are there more points scored between black and gold teams, Steelers and the Mizzou Tigers, or Texas teams? Because it is black and gold versus Texas this weekend. Now, much like the Will Levis catch, there's a catch to this bet. If Jerry Jones says something that goes viral this weekend, it adds 6 points to the Cowboys teams.
Ooh, okay.
Or, excuse me, the Texas teams.
Okay. This is a good one. So, like the Texas A&M offense, they have their backup quarterback probably starting this weekend, and they've been statistically not very good offensively, but their defense is really good. Whereas Missouri's got an excellent wide receiver and pretty good quarterback. So this is going to be a tough one. Then you have the Steelers, who I again, bad O-line situation right now. Against the Cowboys, who have Micah Parsons. So this is tricky. I like that one. I might stay away from it. But
and you got Jerry Jones, the yap in his mouth. I mean, that could add, who knows, by Sunday night, that could add 18 points to your, depending on how many radio shows he goes on this week. So
yeah, that's true. And it's Sunday night football, so
you could even
Sunday
influence this. Just tweet from a burner account like Micah Parsons not happy and tag Jerry Jones, and it could be any burner account. It could be I'm
idea.
Jerry Jones.
I should do that.
Pull it up on his flip phone and
him and
read
Kevin
that
Durant
tweet.
will start talking about it. Yeah.
yeah. As soon as his son cleans his glasses for him. All right. So Jess, you got your 6 bets laid out for you. It's your floor to be had as to which bets you want to bet on. We just ask that you do bet on at least 2, and you got $1,000 of fake cash to go.
Okay. I mean, I think I'm going to go with the first one, the blocked kicks with the Dikembe Mutombo celebration as my lock, and I'm going to put $500 on that.
Wow. Okay.
I feel good about at least one person paying homage and doing a fun celebration to get me the win there.
Okay.
And also maybe there will be a blocked kick. You never know.
Okay. So you're saying yes, there will be a blocked kick, but you're banking on the fact that someone will do the finger wag. Okay.
Exactly. And that's my lock. I'm gonna do the Titans over the 7.5 team score over 30 points.
Okay.
I'm gonna put, let's see if I can do math in my head. I'll put $200 on that one.
Okay.
So I'll take the over, $200, and then
you got $300 left.
Thank you. I got that one.
I got you. I got your back.
I was able to, in fact, do the math correctly.
She's like, I did go to college. Thanks.
I like the MLB teams outscore NFL teams one, just because it'll.
Did I set a line, or are we saying
sports?
any MLB team?
I think you said any.
Any MLB team.
I had written 1.5 and forgot to say. Would that adjust what you're doing here? But I'm thinking 0.5 might be a bit. I'm thinking 0.5 might be a better line, honestly, because I started doing the math in my head and we'll set it at 0.5.
Okay. Then I'll take the over.
All right. So just one team.
Yeah.
And that's just because Jess is such a big baseball, big seam head. You know, she's.
It's because I gave him like a mean look, and he was like, "All right, never mind."
I also was like, I'm gonna have to tally this, and I'm not gonna add up. I like if it gets to 1 and I can stop.
You're done.
Like we do some bets where it's like, will 13 players get? And I'm like looking at all 22s the next week, and I'm just like, oh, good God.
I did really like the max tackles, but I'm gonna stay away from that one because 7 seems a little high if there's only 2 maxes.
Yeah, there's only 2 maxes.
And then for the games they both played, it hit like 9 and 8. And so you're like, well, but then one's coming back off of an injury.
Yeah, exactly.
And is half robot already, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jess, if we get you on in future seasons, you have to play for the charity of getting more maxes in the NFL. Honestly,
yeah, that sounds.
It's a cause we should all fight for.
Yeah.
We'll call it the min-max minimum.
Yep.
Maybe Max Verstappen one day. Everyone always asks if he wants to do like IndyCar when he's done with F1. Maybe we'll just say no. Go be a kicker.
Play in the NFL.
Play in the NFL.
Yeah, go be a kicker.
It's just like out of breath, hurt, drinking a Red Bull.
Yeah.
on the cart to the tent.
He would hate it so much.
All right, so you put 300 on the MLB teams, correct?
Yes.
Your last 300.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
I like
Jess.
that one. It's fun. Go
yeah,
baseball.
it's a lot of fun. You were a lot of fun. We appreciate you taking the time to join us this week. We will obviously keep you posted on your bets. Hopefully, you come out on top. At very least, you'll be in the top the top 5, as this is just week 5.
Yeah, but, I mean, if you do nothing, you're going to be in the top 3. That's how bad it's been going for some other people.
Awesome. I love my chances of being worse than that somehow.
Yeah. Now, Jess, the last thing we ask you before you head out the door, is there anyone that you would like to set the public challenge out to? Someone that you think that you could beat on this podcast with your winnings?
That's
fake
a great
winnings.
Question. How about Gojo?
Gojo. Okay. Mike Golick Jr. Okay. All right. I feel like he would
do some
he would be
things.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a fellow Notre Dame alum. Yeah.
It's called the MD Network. You just tell other people to go on other people's podcasts. That's the whole thing.
Okay.
That's great.
Right. Yeah. Well, Kyle and I, as Mizzou grads, we have the Mizzou Mafia. So, it's just we just start podcasts if we don't have the actual jobs in broadcasting. So
there you go. And hey, cheers to the Midwest. Am I right?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Chicago.
Mizzou, the Midwest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mizzou is Midwest for sure. Even though they're trying to spin this
now.
SEC marketing thing. Yeah, but I don't know. Can you claim both? Can you claim both at one time?
You can if you look at the amount of rebel flags up around campus.
Oh God.
That is true. That is a deterring.
The Mason-Dixon line creeps northward in the state of Missouri.
Well, Jess, listen. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I will be rooting for Texas A&M this weekend because after losing in Northern Illinois, we need those ranked wins to keep stacking.
I love how that works out in college football, where you're just like it's all hoping your friends do okay, so you don't look as bad.
Yes, 100%. That's all it is. It's like, oh man, I need Navy to be good this year, and then we need to beat Navy. I hate this sport. Why do I watch this sport?
I'm here rooting for a bunch of boats to be good at football.
Yeah, Mizzou had us sweating against Vanderbilt and Boston College in the last 2 weeks. So we're come on, Vandy. Come on, BC.
It was like we were at a Scholar Bowl. I know. It was crazy.
Right. Well, Jess, listen, thank you again for joining us. Is there anything else we could plug for you? Jen, CFB,
I have an F1
podcast,
DNF with Spencer Hall, who's another big college football guy. So yeah,
I'm gonna drop that in the Discord because they're always in here talking about F1, and I never have any idea what they're talking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a lot of overlap from Kyle's movie pod, so I'm sure there's a lot of F1 fans listening. So DNF, you said?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not American, they'll hate us because there's a big cultural divide. Us Americans are way too silly about our F1. We're not taking it seriously enough, I think. So
right, I can only imagine what your mentions look like on like a Sunday morning or something.
People know what they sign up for if they're on my page.
Yeah, right. Well, at Jessica Smetana on Instagram, at Jessica_Smetana on Twitter. Guys, give her a follow because she's awesome. If you like Korked Bats and you like what we do here on Doing Lines, then you will absolutely love the work that she is doing at Meadowlark. So, Jess, thank you again for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I hope I win something.
Fake something. We have to, for legal reasons, we have to throw that in there. Yeah.
All right, another big shout out to Jessica. That was so fun. I mean, people who love F1 are so into it, and I mean, it's like its own hyper. It's not even niche. It's so huge everywhere else. It's like calling soccer niche.
Yeah.
Putting the KNEE in niche. I'm gonna lay out my bets right here.
I've actually, real quick before you do that, I've actually perfected my impression of Jess on the F1 minute on Le Batard. Set at 1.75 speed. So this is what I hear whenever they do the F1 minute.
Oh man, it's so funny. It's like, hey Jess, I really love when you are that auctioneer on my podcast.
Yeah, seriously. Like no joke, I have to stay intensely focused if I want to get anything out of it. And it is, I'm like, I heard Verstappen because that's enough syllables to.
I'm not a huge racing guy, but I've always liked the F1 more than NASCAR because it's like, well, who can build a better car and who could not just the going left in the sim. Yeah, it's like I want racing to have less. I don't know. Fast, make it fast, and I love turns, and I think that's so much more indicative of racing.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone who knows nothing about it. Let me lay out my bets. I've got $150 on at least one team outscoring their NFL brethren. I could see some team just putting up 4 points or 3 points or something. I've got $300 on Mutombo happening. I've got $200 on the over on 7 tackles by the Maxes. I have $150 on clean penalties. I have $200 on the under on 30 points being scored. And I think that's everything, and I'm going to lock in the Mutombo as well.
Okay. 600, 800. I'm doing my last little bit. Oh no, wait. Oh no. I don't need. All right, I'm gonna do 200 there. Okay.
I can't bring myself to bet on the Black&Gold because I'm just I'm not as comfortable as a Mizzou fan as I am a Chiefs fan.
I think Mizzou will literally play better if I don't bet on them.
That's how I feel. I'm like, if I have nothing, even fake things riding on this game, I think they'll have it. And it's fun to hear people outside of Mizzou circles talk about them as a national team because they're like, I think we have the best wide receiver in the country. And then I think we have 2 of the other fastest wide receivers in the country. And then a quarterback who can't throw good deep.
My favorite teams are all the same. Mizzou very much has a Tennessee Titans vibe to them where it's like when they are good, people are forced to talk about them, not because they want to talk about them. And so everyone always kind of hits with them like the same demeanor.
This Mizzou team to me feels a little bit like the Chiefs and Alex Smith's last year.
Yeah.
Where you're like, they put it all together. Their quarterback is really pretty underrated with his legs. They have good skill weapons, but he just can't hit these deep shots to blow out teams they should. and so you think it's going to fall apart.
And he checks down way more than he should.
Exactly. That's exactly what it feels like. Where you're like, if he had deep arm talent, this team would go undefeated. Anyway, we could talk all day about like how many times Weiss and Burden are just open and underthrown or overthrown by 7 yards.
Yeah. Look, if we want to get real in the weeds of Mizzou football talk, literally like the first play of overtime, Mizzou just goes deep to Luther Burden, and you're like, that was probably there all game, and you're just now going to it really in the fifth quarter.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like watching that Chiefs deep pass to Xavier Worthy, where you're like, can we try this twice?
Let's maybe just run the touchdown play more often.
Anyways, there's my money. allocate. So I think we're all going to avoid the black and gold bet, which is what it sounds like, which is funny.
Yes, I am actually not. I'm actually putting money on it. I am putting $100 on Steelers Cowboys being not dirty. I think the penalties that are not personal fouls and all of the
Yeah.
unsportsmanlike conducts and all that, I think they outweigh the not dirty. So I'm going to put $100 there. I'm going to put $200 on the under for 30s Hurties, just because I'm riding a high right now that the Titans scored over 30 points. And I do agree. I think defense is better this year. So I think with only 14 games, I think the under hits on that bet. Watch, this will be like the highest scoring week with the Titans not playing. It'll be like the highest scoring week in NFL history. And then I'm putting $300 on black and gold teams. And I'm doing this not because of my confidence in Mizzou. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything in my confidence in the Steelers, because I think their defense is really good, the Steelers. And even though they're coming off like their worst defensive performance of the season. But I think their defense is really good. And I think their offense can do enough against the Cowboys to put it all together. And plus, I do not have a lot of faith in the Texas offenses. Obviously, A&M starting their backup, and then Dak Prescott can be hit or miss. And then I'm putting $100 on yes with the blocked kicks, mainly because I want that double wag multiplier. So I'm putting a minimal amount, $100 on the yes for blocked kicks. And if I get one block kick, look, I win the bet. So, and then, MLB playoffs, I'm taking the MLB over on this one, $200. I do think there's a team and it very well may be the Kansas City Royals. That's not a shot at the Chiefs. That's more of a praise for the Royals.
They make it far, you know what I mean? And they'll be playing in Yankee Stadium, which is inflated the numbers of their faux MVP.
Is Bobby Witt Jr., is he right-handed or left-handed?
Left-handed. He would have, I saw a stat where if they played in all of their games in the same stadiums, he would only have 3 less home runs than Judge. But that was before Judge. That was before Judge hit 8 in 8 games. You know what I mean? That was before that crazy run, but it was when Judge was at 51.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they played all their games in Royal Stadium, they both would have been at 37 or something like that.
Imagine if Shohei played at Yankee Stadium.
Dude, I don't want to, because that means he'd probably play for the Yankees.
Yeah, you're probably right. Honestly,
I hate the Astros so much that I don't even dislike the Yankees anymore.
I think people are like, I think people don't hate. It's kind of like the hatred for the Cowboys has kind of worn off.
I would rather the Yankees win the World Series than the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, though.
I would agree with that. Yeah, mainly because
that
it's
means
funnier.
The Astros didn't win.
Yeah, it's funnier. The drought. See, look, I'm always a fan of, unless it's one of my favorite teams, which it tends to be. I'm always a fan of droughts.
Yeah.
So like, was I glad that the Cubs won the World Series? Sure, but like in that World Series, I kept going back and forth as to who I wanted to root for, because it was like a 58-year curse versus a 108-year curse.
I know.
The Cavs, I wanted them to win an NBA Finals against the Warriors because I hate the Warriors, but man, it would have been funny if they just went another decade plus without championship.
Yeah, definitely. So you would love it if the Chiefs beat the Lions in the Super Bowl. Austin's on record.
Does it have to be the Chiefs? Damn it. I'm going to also put $100 on the NFL maxes over. I think the NFL maxes come through. I think Max Crosby is going to have a great game. I think he gets 3 or 4 tackles, and if he gets a sack and they tie, that'll put me over.
Yeah.
Plus Max Melton. Don't sleep on Max Melton. I've been saying it all year. Haven't I, Kyle?
Yeah, you have. All right. Well, that feels good, right? That's all our money.
Yeah, that should be all $1,000.
Confusing week. I'm feeling weird because I accidentally skipped a page in my notebook. So there's an empty page between week 4 and 5. It's my bye week, if you will.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like the Titans. You're doing it in honor of the Titans not playing this week.
Between my bye week and the Titans and the Chiefs next week, we were really in sync with our buys, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week.
Yes. Follow Kyle on all of the socials at Kyle Ayers. Very, very funny comedian. And especially if you love movies. If you listen to like what we do here on this podcast and you like movies, Kyle has a tremendous movie podcast that you need to check out. You can find that on his socials at Kyle Ayers. Ayers, and then at Kyle Ayers Things on TikTok. Kyle Ayers on everything else, but TikTok at Kyle Ayers Things. You can follow me on Twitter at Austin Huff. And then, of course, follow Korked Bats at Korked spelled with a K, Korked Bats. And you can see like all of our standings, the winnings from each week, and how people do. We'll see how Jessica Smetana does for next week. And you can see Drew Bennett's score posted there as well. So, Kyle, anything for the road?
We did it, Joe.
We did it.
I came up with that phrase.
That's all I was thinking. That was the only phrase that was going through my mind last night when the Titans scored 30 points.
To me, last night was going through my mind was, is Calvin Ridley alive?
Is he on your fantasy team?
Or is he just mourning the death of Pete Rose so bad? He is on my fantasy team until about 6 minutes after we're done with this recording.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Rest in peace, Pete Rose.
Sure. Excited to see baseball do good by him now that he's not around. It'd be the baseballest thing of all time.
Pete had the under on 84 years of life. Sorry. That was
he's signing baseballs outside the Great Mall in the Sky.
just St. Peter's like, hey, could you sign this for my nephew?
He's overcharging St. Peter.
The hit king, it's like the hit king
everybody
makes the king of kings, I guess, outside of heaven. All right. We'll get out of here on that note. Good luck on your bets this week. Follow Korked Bats at Korked Bats, and good luck on your fake bets, and we love you.